Step 35. The action attribute indicates where the form data should be sent. For example, right here, tells the browser that the form data should be sent to the path /submit URL. Add an action attribute with the value, this link here, to the form element.
Okay.
Action element.
So inside that opening tab, we put action, like they have in the example, and then parentheses, put in parentheses, and then copy and paste the value they want us to add, which is this website right here.
Yep. Or you can play hardcore and type it all out, people.
If you want to type it all out, be my guest. Be my guest. But for me, I'm gonna be doing this. All right, let's see if that works. Cool. That works. Move on to the next challenge. Okay, step 36. The input element allows you several ways to collect data from a web form, like image elements. Input elements are self-closing and do not need closing tags. And that's an input element in the form element. So, the action, would it be like right before action? I think we put input, correct?
No, so these are nested inside, so it'd be on the next line in between both of them.
It'd be in between. Wait a minute, no. Yeah, it'd be between form and action.
Not in between both of the form elements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we're not putting anything here yet, are we?
I don't think so. So it'd be just input by itself.
Yeah.
It looks weird. That looks so weird.
Yeah. Well, you can indent it.
Hmm?
You can indent it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder it looks so weird.
Yeah. That's if you want to type without indenting.
Yeah.
People that's like, hey, I'm gonna type it. It works.
It works, but like at the end of the day, it's kind of like that don't look right. You know?
Like, screw your readability.
All right. So let's see if this is right. All right, this is right. Move on. Yeah, we got a little text box down here.
Oh yeah, collecting information now.
So step 37.
All right. And then, see, this is me, right?
Yeah. That's all you. That's all you, man.
Step 37. There are many kinds of inputs you can create using the type attribute. You can easily create a password field, reset button, or a control to let users select a file from their computer. Create a text field to get input from a user by adding the type attribute with the value text to the input element.
Okay. Let's break this thing down. Alright. So put the type attribute. So after input, put type. And then it gives a list of buttons we can do. Create a field, but what they want us to do is create a text field to hit input from the user. Alright, so type with attribute text. What should you text it by set it to it by saying equal to text or just type and then text?
Equal to text.
Yeah.
Every attribute that goes in here will always have quotations after the equal, so it's like attribute equal, and everything should have quotations.
Alright. Sure. That works.
Oh yeah, text.
Okay. Step 37. In order for the form's data to be accessed by the location specified in the action attribute, you must give the text field a name attribute and assign it a value to represent the data being submitted. For example, you could use the following syntax for an email address text field in this example, input text equals text name equals email. Add the name attribute with the value cat photo R1 to your text field. Okay. No, this one's already done. But yeah. But let's just oh, you are one. Make sure this. Let's go. No, that's not right.
You say you used the one.
Hmm? Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. I added a space again. No.
If that was a one, it's supposed to be an L.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just looking at that myself.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks like a one, but
It did.
yeah, the font that they chose.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm typing in L, and then I'm typing in one. They're the same. They are the same. So URL. Okay, so it should be URL, not UR1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did say it Reddit like that, like UR1. I'm like, what is that?
I just noticed your computer is using look like the same font as FreeCodeCamp. Mine's I think is using like the default Mac font. So
okay.
my one in L looks different.
Yeah, well,
You got
mine
the
is the same. Unfortunately, it was the same. That's why I was like that. I was like, alright. And I read it like that too. It's like,
Yeah, I was
you are one. I was like, that don't make sense, but I guess that's an example, you know.
Blame
But
the
it's
font.
URL, yeah. So that's a little confusing here, cuz.
I blame the font. Alright. Step 39. Placeholder text is used to give people a hint about what kind of information to enter into an input. For example, that's right here. Placeholder email address. Add the placeholder text cat photo URL to the input element.
Okay, let's go down here so we can see what we're changing. And
Placeholder. Alright, there we go.
okay, so right up the name, add in placeholder.
Magic.
Equals cat photo URL. And that should do it.
To prevent a user from submitting your form when required, information is missing. You need to add the required attribute to an input element. There is no need to set a value to the required attribute. Instead, just add the word required to the input element, making sure there's a space between it and other attributes. Just required.
Just required. That's all that is required. Just add the word required to the input maker. Alright.
Required.
So you can add it. I guess you can add it anywhere.
Yeah.
As long as you have a space, huh? You
Yeah.
don't have to set it to anything. So I guess we can use this if you're like, I don't know, have one section you want to block off, don't want nobody to see, only the ones with the, like, you give them with the given password or something, be able to access.
Yeah,
like
just for where you can't submit an empty form. You know, like how you sign up for like a new website or something. They'll have like enter your email address and your number, and you try and skip the number. Yeah, like those ones will pop up the red box, and it's like
with the accesses.
That's
got to add this.
That's exactly what this is for.
Okay. Oh yeah. Moving on to step 41. Okay, step 41. Use the button element to create a clickable button. For example, in this example given here, creates a button with the text click here. Add a button element with the text submit below the input element. The default behavior of clicking a form button without any attributes submits the form to the location specified in the form's action attribute. Okay, so it's an element, not an attribute. So it'll be like right after required here. Put in button. And then in between cat photo, and then here we have the submit button. We just click. Yeah, because it's a warning. Please fill out this. Yeah, so that's good. That tells us that the required is working. You know. All right. The required attribute is working. So let's see if we got the button. So let's see. Yep. Pass the test. All right. Moving on to step 40.
Step 42. Even though you added your button below the text input, they appear next to each other on the page. That's because both input and button elements are inline elements which don't appear on new lines. You've learned previously that the button submits the form by default, but you explicitly add the type attribute with the value submit to make it clearer. Go ahead and do this to specify where this button should submit the form.
So what this telling us is because this by default, when we add the button, it's always going to be on the same line. So it's always going to be on the same row. But we can change it by
So that changes the
using
style.
a type element. You can use radio buttons for questions where you want only one answer out of multiple options. Here is an example of a radio button with the option of cats, input, type, radio. Remember that input elements are self-closing. Before the text input, add a radio button with the option set as input. So this is self-closing, so that means they don't need no closing tab at the end. Okay. So we put in a radio. They're going to put it at the end of the part.
Are self-closed and you just throw the word at the end like that?
No, I don't think.
That doesn't hold up.
Right.
Input radio.
I think alright, so here's my go at it. I think it's gonna be like radio equals yeah. So I guess moving on. Yeah, there we go. Maybe click on it now. Let's go.
Alright.
So step 44.
Alright. Label elements are used to help associate the text for an input element with the input element itself, especially for assistive technologies like screen readers. For example, this example right here, label, makes it so clicking the word cat also selects the corresponding radio button. Nest your radio button inside a label element. Yeah.
So it's a nested with opening tag label in front of input and closing tag label after that. And then is it supposed to change anything in the code?
No, I don't
No, I don't
it's-
think so. Yeah.